So there were a number of important changes that were made in the Inflation Reduction Act that really do benefit the oil and gas industry here in the United States. So one of the key ones is they implemented offshore lease sales in the United States Gulf of Mexico. And it also said that if there are going to be lease sales for wind or renewables, there also have to be lease sales for oil and gas. So that maintains that there's going to be a long-term future for development in the offshore in the United States in the Gulf of Mexico, which is one of the most prolific regions here in the United States. In addition to that, the IRA provided new tax incentives for carbon capture and storage programs in the United States that's going to encourage development of CCS projects in the United States. In addition to that, many API member companies have invested heavily in hydrogen development. And the tax incentive for the development of hydrogen, the 45V tax credit, was also enhanced in the Inflation Reduction Act. So we're very encouraged about some of these new changes to American law that are going to allow for the continued development of oil and gas here in the United States. I think what you're seeing right now is many companies making that choice, that they know that the future of energy is going to include more renewables. But companies are also continuing to invest in oil and gas because they know that oil and gas is going to be around for a long time. So just this recently, what we saw is that usage of oil has actually increased in the United States, and it's increasing throughout the world. And recently I saw that the world actually is now consuming about 102 million barrels of oil every single day. Again, a record number. Most outside projections suggest that that number is only going to go up over time. And as the world adds 2 billion people in the next 20 years, I think what you're going to see is that we're going to need all sources of energy to be successful. And that means a lot more oil and gas, but it also means a lot more renewables. So it makes sense for an oil company to invest a lot in CCS because they know the subsurface. They know what the geology looks like. And so they're going to invest in that area because that's something that they're already good at. What they're maybe less good at are necessarily investing in windmills, for example. That's not something that they have historic expertise in. So you may not see oil and gas companies invest in those kinds of renewables. But you may see them investing more in biofuels, which is something that they're used to understanding. Well, I'm very sure that they're going to continue to look like oil and gas companies because demand for oil and gas is going to be going up significantly over the next few years. It's not going down, it is going up. So I think your traditional American exploration and production company is going to continue to be investing in oil and gas. Whereas I think you'll see some of the major integrated companies like an ExxonMobil or a Chevron or a BP or a Shell, they may be expanding their portfolios to include other technologies. CCUS is going to be, I think, the primary place where you're going to see oil and gas companies pursuing opportunities, particularly some of the larger integrated companies. But we're also seeing it as well from smaller companies like Occidental Petroleum is a great example where they're actually investing heavily in direct air capture in the atmosphere.